It is day 2 of the NATO informal meeting of foreign ministers in Norway. Ukraine and Sweden's impending membership of the alliance are key issues that will be discussed in these meetings. NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg also made a statement pushing for Sweden's membership in the alliance and making a personal appeal to Turkey's establishment for allowing Sweden's membership.
Sweden is now integrating more and more into NATO structures, our military structures, our civilian structures, and several allies also provided bilateral security assurances for Sweden. So it's absolutely inconceivable that there will be any threat or any attack against Sweden without NATO reacting. I will travel to Ankara in the near future. Exactly when is not yet decided.
Meanwhile, Norway's foreign minister said that Sweden's inclusion into NATO must happen before the July summit that is scheduled to be set in Lithuania.
I have raised it several times when I had a meeting with the Turkish foreign minister. He can unfortunately not come to this meeting because there is going to be an opening session of the Turkish parliament on Thursday. But I have raised this several times. And Sweden fulfills all the criteria. So there is absolutely no reason for holding Sweden back.
On the other hand, NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg will be giving a joint statement with U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken. According to the U.S. State Department, Blinken's trip is largely focused on discussing with allies how to build Ukraine's defense and deterrence capabilities.
It's always great to meet U.S. troops in Europe.
We are partners in trying to find peace in areas of conflict. That remains vitally important. And again, here in Europe, the solidarity that we have shown with other European partners in defense of Ukraine and against the Russian aggression, I think has been absolutely remarkable.
Back in Washington, President Joe Biden has approved a new package of military aid for Ukraine that totals up to $300 million. It includes additional munitions for drones and an array of other weapons.
We will use that package that we're announcing today to provide Ukraine with additional munitions for Patriot air defense systems, which Ukraine has been deploying quite effectively, as well as more Avenger air defense systems, Stinger anti-aircraft systems, and ammunition, of course, for the HIMARS, artillery, and anti-armor systems that the United States continues to provide to Ukraine.
Several members of the NATO alliance have been pushing for narrowing the divide between the countries over Ukraine's membership of the alliance. Now, for more on this, our principal diplomatic correspondent Sadan Sibul has sent us this report.
In the shadow of the Russia-Ukraine conflict, the NATO foreign ministers are holding informal conversations here in Oslo. Behind me is the Oslo City Hall where the conversations are happening, and focus remains as to how the NATO countries can come up with a joint and a united front, even as the conflict rages on for over 1 year. But also on the table are issues like the expansion of the grouping. Now, we know that Sweden is keen to be part of the grouping, and there has been strong support in the grouping as well. But Turkey has been resisting that, and the NATO SG will be traveling to Ankara to change perhaps that. With the re-election of Turkey, the focus will be on how the stance also changes. But essentially, there will be issues like Kosovo and also situation in the Indo-Pacific, even as China remains aggressive in the region. We know that the Chinese president has said that prepare for the worst, which is something seen as a message in the region and outside as well. Sadan Sibul for WION in Oslo, Norway.